Okay, for real, do y'all want to see? Y'all want to see what happened in Dallas? Check this out. This is, in my honest opinion, one of the best examples that I could find. This is what it normally looks like here in Dallas. Okay? This is Dallas on a normal day. This is Dallas after the flooding that we just went through. Wait for it. Wait for it. Soak that in. Soak this image in. Okay? This is Dallas after the rains. We had like a river. How perfectly built is this bridge, by the way? Can you imagine? It was nuts. We had people having to get like water rescued out of the highways and stuff. So that's why I wasn't here on Monday. I had to skip stream, not because my house was flooding or anything. It was we didn't experience that here in my little area. I mean, don't get me wrong, we got a ton of rain. The reason I had to skip it was I was sitting there doing show prep, and all of a sudden the power just kind of goes out. It was out for 5 seconds. It comes right back on. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. And then it did it again and again and again. And then finally it just went out. And then about the time, like, I was like, I got to go work either way. Like, I can't stream. Stream's off, but I got to go right? I packed up my tech pack and everything. I was going to go to this, like, really cool, like, coffee joint, and I was just going to set up shop there, and I was just going to work. The moment I leave, and this is about 11 o'clock when stream is supposed to start. The moment I leave, my wife calls me up. Power's back on. I was like, awesome. So, yeah, all that to miss Monday's stream, sadly. But hey, I'm back now. I'm back. Did you guys miss me? I missed you. I don't like to not stream. It's like in me now. Now I get jittery if I don't stream. What's up, Soul Warrior? What's up, Amtrue, John, Red Animal, Pickled Squirrel? Y'all are beautiful. What's up, chatters? And all of you who are lurking and not chatting, you're just as welcome. I saw the aftermath of Katrina. Was like, wow. I was actually in Galveston. I lived in Galveston when Ike hit. So, you know, I'm kind of used to flooding. But it's still not fun, dude. Ike was a nightmare. If any of you ever played Fallout, like Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, or anything like that, you know how it kind of has that post-apocalyptic look to it? That's what Galveston looked like after Ike. Like, it was almost just... I could have had a German Shepherd and a vault suit on, and you guys would have been like, wow, that is some... How did he get that? That is some great Photoshop work and some great cosplay. Cowboys suck. Get out. Just wanted to get that out of the way. I'm going to get you out of the way, Soul. Cowboys do not suck. They're looking fire right now, okay? I'm not going to lie. I've been watching the practices. You know, I'm not going to get stun locked on this. No, I'm not going to let you guys do that to me. Nope, not again. Not again. All Cowboys, not doing it. Reminds me of the area in Kansas where I lived after the flood of 93. It's kind of surreal to see. It's almost like the entire landscape. I mean, it does change. I'm just saying, like, it looks like a whole different place when that happens, you know? The power teases you that way. Yeah, it wasn't fun. This is why you own and keep a canoe. A nice one. I don't have one yet, but I will. I actually thought about, like, how fun would it be right now just to, like, go to areas in Dallas, get a canoe, and just kind of paddle down it. Just to say I did it. Or something like just like a small little personal boat of some kind. I always wanted to be an architect. Life got in the way. I went to, in high school, I took a class for architecture. And it didn't grab me. Our power up here is all still on above ground lines, so we lose power 2 to 3 times a year for down trees, ice, etc. House is wired for a generator, but we don't have one yet. I wish I actually talked to my wife about that. I was like, maybe we need to get a generator because like this isn't the first time this has happened because of inclement weather. Like, remember that freeze that happened here in Texas not that long ago, and the power went out everywhere for like some people days at a time. Luckily, we didn't lose power, but I was like, if anything ever happens like that and the power goes out and it's that cold, like, I would like to have a generator nearby. Preppers are smart. I'm just going to say that. Hey, is that me headed to Brandon's new swimming pool? It's got a lot of grass and worms in it, so, you know. Plus, canoes are great for fishing on any lake. I suck at fishing, but hey, day on the lake is always nice. Agreed. We've got a new one out back. It's pretty great. Do Friday stream on mobile data from a canoe in the water. What's up, Cleo? That would coming to you live from some place in Dallas that I can't recognize because it's all underwater. It rained so much here in southern Arizona that there was people in parking lots floating around on rafts and tubes. That's what I do love about, like, certain, like, here in Texas, especially in Houston, I feel like Houston's kind of used to it by now. Now, when it starts to flood in Houston, people just, like, get out their swim trunks and their boogie boards and, like, their little boats. I saw, oh my god, back in 2017, I think it was 2017 or 20, I think it was 2017, the water got so deep that there were people, this is the power of ChickfilA, by the way. This is a true story. This is an absolutely true story. Some dude who had a flooded house in a neighborhood calls ChickfilA, and he's like, hey, we're stranded. Can you give us, like, deliver some food to us? And the guy on the manager of ChickfilA was like, yeah, we'll be right there. They show up on jet skis. ChickfilA employees showed up on jet skis with food, and they... They evac'd it was an older couple. They evac'd the couple out of their home on jet skis. So if ever you're in a flood situation, call your local Chick-fil-A. I have a whole house gas generator. I need a generator. I need one. Went to Seattle once a week. It only stopped raining for one afternoon nonstop. Dude, that's why Seattle has such a high suicide rate. And I could get it. I have to have sunlight. Sunshine, I have to have it. If I start to get real depressed after about 3 days of nothing but cloudy weather. This is why I could never live in Seattle. I would be so depressed all the time. Joe Biden. Joe finally wiped his butt before pulling up his pants. Good for him! He's making progress. He actually did something very stupid. He's doing something very stupid. And we're going to get to Florida here in a second, by the way. I'm going to talk about that. The Florida victory. I'm going to talk about New York. These primary races that just happened. But first, I got to address this one thing. Because it makes me mad. It makes me mad. My Chick-fil-A is failing me. I love Chick-fil-A, but they keep screwing up our order. That is not a Chick-fil-A. That is a different restaurant in disguise. Let us eat and get out of here. Dude, showed up on jet skis. True story. Go look it up. Just think how much it would cost if you had to replace everything in your oh, it would suck. A nice I had to go through that. A nice combination of sunshine and thunderstorms makes for a happy squirrel. Bro, same. I love a good thunderstorm. I love a good rainstorm. You know, I just like storms. I really do. But once the storm is over, go back to sunshine. I don't need that nonsense to linger around. Check this out. Chick-fil-A overrated. Look, if you were to tell me, Brandon, what would you rather have? Would you rather have Chick-fil-A or would you rather have Bush's chicken? I'd say Bush's chicken every time. True story. And on top of that, lately, I have really been eating Popeyes. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. Just suddenly I was like, I gotta eat Popeyes. They have that Mardi Gras mustard that is just out of this world. If you have not gone to Popeyes yet, get the chicken tenders, spicy. Get the spicy chicken tenders, okay? Get the fries, but eat the fries first, because if they get cold, they get soggy a little bit, you know, and they leave a weird texture on your tongue that I despise. But get the chicken tenders, spicy chicken tenders, sweet tea, all right? Mardi Gras mustard. I'm gonna do it right after this stream. Now I've just made myself crave some Popeyes. Mardi Gras mustard. Trust me. Spicy tendies, Mardi Gras mustard, sweet tea. Five Guys. Five Guys is it's actually kind of a meme on my other stream. How much I love Five Guys. I'm not kidding. Five Guys. Bro, we went to Twisted Root the other day. Twisted Root Burger Company. That might be one of... Don't get the one in the airport, because I know there's one in the airports. But that one's nuts compared to like an actual brick and mortar Twisted Root Burger Company. Oh my god. Changed my life. Red State chicken tasting stream. Y'all want to do that? I'll do that. We'll do it. We'll do a chicken tryout. A tendies tryout. It's all tendies. Who has the best tendies? Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich is as good as it gets. That's what I got yesterday. That's what I ate for lunch yesterday. True story, Dieter. True story. That's what I ate for lunch yesterday. I love their spicy chicken sandwich. Are you kidding me? All right, we gotta talk politics, because y'all didn't come here to watch me talk about tendies. Unless you want to talk about tendies, bro, because I can talk about it all day. Biden to announce that taxpayers will foot the bill for a chunk of student loans. I wrote this yesterday. Everything I'm about to talk about is on redstate.com, or will be on redstate.com. So go there, follow along with me. Also, sign up for the VIP program. Use promo code MORSE, MRSE, on sign up. Really helps us out. You're going to get a whole load of content that you're not going to get just like being a front page viewer. So join up, helps us in the fight to stop these people from trying to ruin us financially, and they are definitely trying to do that. Also, Gizmo would be very much appreciative if you did that. Gizmo wants you to do it, isn't that right? Stiff arms? Why do you do stiff arms? Can you explain the stiff arms thing? Like, you don't bend them. Alright, well, you know what, sorry, I woke you up from your nap. She has been really clingy to me since my wife is in LA right now. Biden to announce that taxpayers will foot the bill. And like the stream, really helps me out algorithm-wise. Like the stream right now. Smash that like button. Look at it. Look at it and smash it with your mouse. Biden to... Not with your fist. Don't do that. Biden to announce that taxpayers will foot the bill for a chunk of student loans. Congratulations, taxpayer. You're now the owner of a student loan debt you never agreed to acquire, and will now be responsible for paying it off. According to The Hill, President Joe Biden has announced to cancel a solid chunk of the nation's student loan debt, and he's doing that today. In fact, he announced that he's going to have a little bit of a meeting. I don't know if he's already done it or if he's doing it right now or whatever, but they said that they didn't have a subject for why he's announcing or talking to the people, but this is it. This is it. Sources said President Joe Biden's intended measure will include at least $10,000 in loan forgiveness for borrowers who make less than $125,000 annually, as well as another payment freeze for roughly 4 months. The $10,000 figure would be the largest forgiveness of federal student loans per individual to date. I am... How does... Okay. First off, the fact that Joe Biden has the power to do that blows my mind. That he can just like wave his hand and people's debt will disappear. And here's the thing. He's forgiving debt for some of the most ridiculous reasons. You know who would be a great thing that he could do? Seriously. If he's going to start forgiving debt, why doesn't he forgive the debt of a lot of self-employed people? Why didn't he wave his hand and say, well, you know, the IRS is now going to retract its claim on a, you know, metric ton of your income? Because, you know, this is America and we're a country of self-starters. Clearly, that, you know, this is we're taking too much money from self-employed people. Why didn't he do that? Instead, I'm just gonna read this from Ron DeSantis, because Ron DeSantis had already commented on this a while back, and I agree with this 100%. He said, "Well, I think for sure it will fuel inflation, which it's going to. It's interesting, almost 60% of the outstanding debt is graduate school debt. People who have gone to law school, master's programs, PhD programs, medical schools. And so it would just be odd to require a waitress, truck driver, or plumber to pay the student debt that was incurred by somebody to get a PhD in like zombie studies, or just something that really is not that pertinent. So having taxpayers foot the bill, I think, is a bad idea. What I would be potentially open to doing for student debt is to make the universities liable for this, because they facilitate these students taking out obnoxious amounts of debt. And they benefit if a student takes 6 years to get a bachelor's degree. And yet, they have no sense of responsibility for producing somebody that is capable of being productive in society. So, if we want to talk about relief in that regard, we've got to protect the taxpayers. But I would absolutely be interested in looking at how the universities could be responsible. Because quite frankly, I think that they've really driven a lot of the problems that we have seen coming out of higher education in terms of debt and in terms of really losing our moorings about what's the purpose of higher education. I agree with that 100%. The goal here isn't to necessarily pay off student debt using us, the taxpayer, you and me, all right, who have now become responsible for a lot of people's debt. Somebody went to college, they got a degree in basket weaving, they got a degree in feminist studies, they got a degree in how to make really, really bad TV like She-Hulk. And then they get out of college and they have $100,000 worth of college student loans, and then they say, oh, well, I can't pay this off. This is too much. It's too much. Okay, well, you agreed to pay that, or to take that debt on. You can't then turn around and say, oh, it's too much, you pay for it. You can't do that. But the fact that Biden can blows my mind. Nancy Pelosi said he doesn't have the power to do that, which, from what I understand, he actually does. Apparently, there's a rule that goes through, and you'll have to pardon me. A lawyer will have to explain this, or somebody who knows the law better than I do. But apparently, by you going through the Department of Education, Joe Biden can actually sweep his hand and say, okay, I'm forgiving X amount of debt for people. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm with DeSantis on the fact that you can... I would like to go after lenders and universities. Now, given this might be my prejudice toward the American education system speaking here, but I really do believe that universities, these people who lend out this nonsensical amount of money toward these kids who have been pressured to go to... My generation was pressured to go to college. And what for? I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. What do you want to major in? I don't know. I'll be in school for a little while and then I'll figure it out. Like we were just pressured to go to college. And today, I mean, like, I can tell you this, my kid is not, I'm not going to say that to my kid at all. My kid goes, Dad, I don't want to go to college. I'll be like, cool. Go to a trade school, learn something. Learn a skill. But I think that these universities are predatory. Student loan debt keeps them, I think, very, very wealthy. And then they go and it's like just like what Ron DeSantis said. They teach your kid nothing. They teach your kid the most useless skills. Then they send them out into the world with all this debt, and the kid can't get a job. You got people with master's degrees right now flipping burgers at Burger King. And here's something that's like really crazy. I don't know if you guys knew this. I want to point this out. The Democrats that are like the squad and stuff like that, these Democrats, these socialists and stuff, they are the ones that actually have the most debt themselves. According to the Daily Caller, 13 Democrats in Congress pushing for student loan forgiveness have debts that range from $15,000 to $300,000. Democrats in office. I'm sure you can guess who they are even without telling you, but here they are anyway. This includes New York Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Are you surprised? Because I'm not. Who owes up to $50,000 worth of debt and has repeatedly tweeted about the issue. And also Michigan Rep. Rashida Tlaib, who owes up to $100,000 and is called canceling student debt a racial justice issue. You're racist if you don't want to cancel student loan debt. New York Rep. Grace Meng, who, along with other Democrats in March, demanded Biden forgive student loans to address racial and economic equity issues, disclosed in 2021 that her spouse owes up to $250,000 in educational debt. Members who have backed debt cancellation while reporting student loans for themselves includes Ocasio-Cortez, Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, why not? Reps Jimmy Gomez and Nanette Barragan, Pennsylvania Rep Brendan Boyle, Connecticut Rep Johanna Hayes, Florida Rep Darren Soto, and Texas Rep Veronica Escobar. Gee willikers, folks. Isn't that weird? It's Democrats passing legislation that will further drive us into economic stagnation. Okay? Also that they can serve themselves. Also that they don't have to worry about the debt anymore. Their own debt, the debt that they agreed to incur for themselves. These are Democrats who are screwing you over so that they'll have a better life. Gee, do you see a pattern? But let's see what are the Democrats saying, right now to people. That's you might be wondering, how are they being confronted? What are they saying to the people? Let me go ahead and tell you. Let me show you. Here is Elizabeth Warren, who got approached by a dad. He said, "I saved all my money. My daughter doesn't have any student loans. Am I going to get my money back?" So he paid off his daughter's student loans. He worked really hard to do that, right? So that she could have a better life, as a dad would. And he's wondering, okay, since you're forgiving all this debt, am I going to get some of that money back? Is it going to come back to me? Elizabeth Warren effectively laughed at him.
I was hoping to teach you way.
This is the dad right here.
Yep.
I just want to ask one question. My daughter's getting out of school. I saved all my money. She doesn't have any student loans. Am I going to get my money back? So you're going to pay for people who didn't save any money, and those of us that did the right thing get screwed.
No, it's not anybody got screwed. When we started,
of course we did. My buddy had fun, bought a car, went on vacations. I saved my money. He made more than I did. But I worked a double shift, worked extra. My daughter's worksheet is 10. So you're laughing. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. We did the right thing, and we get screwed.
I appreciate it.
That's all right.
They don't care about you, man. They think it's funny. They don't care. They're going to spend your money all day, every day, and have zero guilt about it. That's where they are right now, folks. That's what they you have a wallet, and they have no issue about reaching into your wallet, pulling it out, and using that money to serve themselves. They are going to campaign off the back of forgiving student loans like crazy. Hey, we're the ones who made you guys a little bit wealthier because we're taking $10,000 away from your student loan debt. No, you can't do that. You can't just money does not grow on trees. There's no magic money tree. In order to pay off that debt, we have to be involved, the taxpayer. This is why we need to elect people who are policy unmakers, who can go in and say the U.S. federal government does not have the ability to just wave away debt. Like, it has to go through a major, major process in order for that to just happen. Because Biden right now, I think he doesn't care. He knows he's on his way out. That makes the Biden administration dangerous, by the way. I need to reiterate this. They probably know at this point that they're not going to get reelected, so they just start doing whatever they want to. And this is one of those things. It's going to make inflation worse. It's going to make the economy worse. But who cares? Because now he can look at people and be like, hey, I forgave your student loan debt. Vote for me. And maybe more goodies will come down the line. Fools, man. All of these people are fools. And they're fools. They're selfish. They're willing to screw you over. Isn't this illegal? How is this legal? I have questions. It goes through the Department of Education somehow, and they're able to just do that. I don't know how. Nancy Pelosi seems to think that they can't, but apparently there is a way. I was watching Bridget Fitassi ask that question on Twitter, and I was reading the replies. And apparently it's... No results for Bridget. Okay. Well, either way, apparently there's a way to do it. Like the stream. Thank you. Thank you, Amtrue. I saw someone earlier said my mortgage self-identifies as a student loan. That's actually solid. That's actually pretty good. I'm going to be doing some ranting today, so it should be fun to watch. LOL, welcome. How great would it be if they weren't lying about the subject? Just walks up to the podium and tells more fake stories from his past and the things that make him cool. Not debt forgiveness, it's debt reallocation. Making those responsible pay. That's a really great way to put it. It's just reallocation. It's not forgiveness, it's reallocation. That's perfect. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to write an article about this later. I'm going to call it that. Could just be a way for them to pay off their underlings. It technically is. Zombie studies might be a good thing. If the stuff has ever hit the fans, it might give you an advantage in the apocalypse. Look, I'm not going to be the guy who says that we shouldn't be scared of zombies, okay? All right? It's not like they don't exist in real life, okay? They do. I've seen the cordyceps fungus and what it can do to insects. Imagine if cordyceps fungus can infect humans. What then? You know, what is it going to do to us? I've played The Last of Us. Doesn't Congress control the money? I really don't get this. Can I go and get a $10,000 college loan now, and will the government cover it now? Apparently it will. It's $10,000 worth of free college. Desantis playing should be the standard. It's kind of brilliant. Yeah. If they get 10 grand forgiven, everyone else that doesn't have the debt should 10 grand from the university of my choice going to sue. I kind of think that, you know what, that would be an interesting predicament for the government to be in at that point in time. Because if you think about it, they're just going around forgiving certain various parts, like the debt. Like, why? I wonder if there would be some kind of legal ramification. There are times when I wish I was a lawyer. My credit card self-identifies as a student loan. I'm thinking of suing the college for 10 grand. Why not? I don't have any debt, but paying for the debt, so where's my 10 grand in college money? I think if it truly believes in the power of socialism, that the Democrat Party should start handing out thousands of dollars to the people. You know? Something to help us cover the tax burden that we just got saddled with. How many like myself understand that it's also taxpayers' choice to not get robbed by this? That's what I'm saying. Vote accordingly, guys. Vote accordingly. This is what happens when Democrats get into office. It's like it's a pattern that no one seems to learn. They get into office and they just start like a rapper at a strip club. He allowed her to expose herself to that motive. I love it. Yo, yeah, absolutely. If 750 billion will reduce inflation, think about how much a reduction we would get with 3 trillion. Hey, did y'all hear that they're throwing more billions at Ukraine? This administration, bro. He should have had a woman there to do some instant dental work on Warren. The Red State live stream does not advocate violence. Theodore Andrews. His opinions are his own. There is a fire raging right now. What do we do? Just keep throwing money at it. That's the whole point of the government stupidity is, in my honest opinion, some of the worst stupidity out there. It's the one place where they will go, something has failed. And And instead of like reworking it, revamping it, trying to make it better, they're like, let's just throw more money at it. Let's give it a raise for failing. That's the power of government, dude. The stupidity of government. Florida has no state income tax, another good example. Neither does Texas, man, and I love it. Same with Alaska, no state income tax, no state sales tax. Property taxes are pretty low. Property taxes in Texas are high. They teach your kids to wipe before they pull their pants up by age of 80. That's college in a nutshell right there, dude. The Department of Education should have never been federal. It should have been a state rate. Yeah, Cleo, oh my God. I talked about this the other day. There should be no Department of Education. Everything, honestly, the amount of departments out there in the federal government should be, most of them should be state level. Most of them. I do not understand why there needs to be a national oversight for education. That's scary to me if you really stop and think about it. The next Republican in office should make a big deal out of going the federal government staying out of education from here on out. It's down to the states. It's down to the states at this point. We're not doing nothing. Inflation is like corn pop, so, the thing. Come on, guys. The thing. Department of Education needs to be disbanded. See, chat, y'all are smart. Y'all are smart. For the most part, we can only be killed once. And for the most part. There was that one guy. Actually, there were two guys, if you count Lazarus. Vote with your money, too? Yeah. Yep. What if Joe and co. have figured out that they're wrong? They're gone. Why wouldn't they wax the lot of it? Wax the lot of it? What do you mean? Got to keep the money laundromat open? Yeah. 40% of the money is circulating right now was created in 2020. That's scary, man. Red State Stream is getting popular. LOL is getting bots now. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. Now we just need trolls, We need people to come in here, get angry, start a fight. I haven't had a good fight. Is equal, a squirrel said, got to keep the game going. Yeah. A lot of this stuff is just power. It's just the need for power. Too bad there's not a way to take the money supply from us to all Democrat politicians. I think that it would be good if the Democrat Party would just spread the wealth around. They believe in that, right? I mean, I feel like if that's their stance, maybe they could just practice what they preach. It's funny that Democrats seem to love to hold on to their own money. Just had an odd question asked. How does Alaska survive with solar when they get no sun for 6 months a year? That's a good question. Animal's going to have to answer that one. My dad paid 3 times in property taxes than what he paid for his house before he died. He owned the deed, but in reality was a renter. Property taxes are, in Texas especially, are just like ridiculous. If they're going out, they know it. Why wouldn't they do all of it to further screw the country? Like you said, they'll sabotage the way out. Oh, yeah, no. I mean, the Democrats, look. The Democrats do not like America. They have made that very clear. Okay? There are, clearly, the old guard Democrats, okay, only care about themselves. They don't really give a crap about America. I mean, look at the way that they treat their constituency. All right. Then you have people like the Squad, Rashida Tlaib and Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar. They have openly stated their contempt for America. Then you have the Democrat voters, many of them who were in Black Lives Matter, who were constantly preaching about how they're going to burn the system down and replace it, how America is an evil country. It's super racist. They started the 1619 Project. You have university professors out there who are teaching all these kids about how evil America is compared to other places who are communists. Like, for some odd reason, I don't know why, they hate Russia, but they want to adopt their system of old, the one that failed. Okay? Suddenly they're all about China and its system. They think that China is some great democracy, according to Nancy Pelosi, who apparently got weak-kneed after her little brazen trip to Taiwan. So the Democrats do not like America. They don't like it. So yeah, I do not have to put on a tinfoil hat or say that I'm being sensationalist whenever I say, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're willing to screw America on the way out. If they're losing power, they're going to say, if we can't have it, then nobody can. And they're going to do whatever they can in order to really hurt people. Because they don't like you. They hate you. They hate you. Look at the way that they talk about you in popular media, on the big stage, in Hollywood and TV and stuff like that. They talk about you like you're an evil neo-Nazi. I can't say that word because YouTube doesn't like that. And that you're stupid, you're evil, you're manipulative, you hate black people and Mexican people and anybody that doesn't look like you. You're a homophobe. You're all of this. Look at the way they talk about you. They do not like you. Vote accordingly. Don't vote for the people who hate you. I could write a pretty good article on rural Alaska and the minarchist system. We get along very well with little government involvement. I think a lot of people would. I can pretend to be a troll. Trump is bad because people say he is bad, and I blindly believe what people say because I practice idolatry like an idiot. How'd I do? That was perfect, Soul. Perfect. God, y'all want to know like what drove me crazy the other day? Kyle Rittenhouse, he trended on Twitter again. And like I had Republicans, people who, or at least they said they're Republicans, in my mentions, like still like confused as to how he got off with a not guilty verdict. Like they were confused. They were like, he crossed state lines. He did all this. He's a terrorist. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Big L for the mainstream media for people still believing that nonsense. They use generators in winter, augment with solar in summer. Not sure how well it works. I'm a practical animal. I have chopped a lot of firewood in my time. Log splitters are great. Dude, I love chopping wood. Seriously, it's such a good workout. And it's so satisfying. We're on the grid here, of course. Our grid is owned and maintained by a co-op, not any government body. Ah! Well, sometimes it's good to be lazy. Let's see. 2 cords. Still had to put it somewhere. Bet that's somewhere. Legacy media is dying, in my opinion. It is dying. It is dying. You are correct. I never watch news anymore, like on TV. I watch Tucker Carlson from time to time, but most of the news that I get comes from like Jeremy from the Quartering or Tim Pool, Nerdrotic, Steven Crowder. Like I watch all those guys. Like I have no desire to watch the news anymore. I want to know what, like, here's the thing. A lot of the news that I watch is definitely biased. Okay? But I would much rather, I'll get to this in a second. I would much rather watch people who admit their bias and aren't scared to tell you where they're coming from and get my news from them than watch people like, Brian Stelter, may his career rest in pieces, who claim to be these centrists and they just care about the facts and the news, and then they clearly have a platform dedicated to servicing the Democrat Party. Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity they're not out there going, we're centrist. We're just telling you the facts. They don't tell you that. They tell you, hey, I'm here for a conservative victory. I want Republicans to win. Well, guess what? I trust you a lot more. You know who on the Democrat side I trust more than anybody? Bernie Sanders. You know why? Because he's honest. He's honest about what he wants. He tells you what he wants, how he's going to get it, what his aims and his goals are, and I can respect that. Would I ever vote for the guy? Hell no. Hell no. Not a snowball's chance in hell. Nope. But you know what? I can trust him to tell me what he wants. And I would be more akin to listen to him about his positions than anybody else on the Democrat Party for that one specific reason. I want to be able to trust you and know where you're coming from. Be honest. Tucker, and that's about it. Yeah. Dianne Feinstein, Justice Mole 2024. Democrats really love that their chats. Has anyone seen Dianne Feinstein lately? Has anyone actually seen? I haven't seen or heard from her in a while. Am I getting a little conspiracy theorist over here? Because it's just a little strange that I ain't seen her in a hot minute. Live streamers, the real news. That's right, folks. That's right. Cleo's correct. That's why you got to come to Red State Live. I'm giving you the real news. People who bought CNN being balanced are bigger marks than people who believe pro wrestling is 100%. What do you mean it's not legit? You're full of crap, John. You're full of crap, dude. Wrestling isn't real. You're going to sit here and tell me that the Wolfpack and the NWO, they weren't actually at war with the WCW? Get out of here. That was the golden age, dude. I remember I even had like a NWO Wolfpack shirt back when I was a kid, dude. I had a little bowl cut in a Wolfpack shirt. I repost your stream on social media. I'm on Bring on the Fun. That's what's up, Raptor. That's what's up. That's why you're one of my favorites. That's why you are one of my favorites, Raptor. I mean, all of you are kind of my favorites. Degeneration. Undertaker, yeah. Best live action soap opera ever made. True! New World Order. Need Yoshi's wrestling subject. Oh, yeah, Yoshi's? Oh, my God, yeah. Or Yoshi's? I do. All right, let's get to this. I'm Oh, are you waking up from your nap? Or is Daddy making too much noise? Is he making too much noise? Sorry. Florida flips Desantis back school board candidates with big... Okay, so we do have good news. I do want to talk about this now that I'm almost an hour into the stream. An incredible night for local politics and a possible harbinger of what's to come in local school districts across the country. Florida saw a slew of conservative school board candidates win races across the state. Earlier during the Tuesday primary elections, Governor Ron DeSantis encouraged Floridians to get out and vote for the conservative candidates running for open spots across the state. This is happening all over the country, by the way. Our own Kira Davis is actually running for a school board as well. Conservatives are really, really, really getting out there. And let me tell you something. Is this the highest of offices? No, but I would guarantee you that it is one of the most important offices to hold. All right. He who controls the schools controls the future. That's the honest to God fact. It's one of the main things that you go and look at any dictator's screeds, and they always mention controlling the schools, controlling the textbooks. Okay. If you have kids out there that are being are being overseen by these radical leftists, then you can damn well bet that they in the future are more prone to be radical leftists. Okay, if you are a person running a school who is actually who cares about the kids, who cares about their education, those kids are going to be a lot better off. Easily. I have been covering this. I mean, I haven't been the only one. Red State in general, all of our writers have been covering in some way some of the nastiness that has been coming out of America's schools. And it always tracks back. It's not just teachers, okay? The teachers are the most popular ones on TikTok, of course, but it's not just the teachers. The teachers are hired on by administrators who are themselves radicals. These administrators are approved of by a board that is in itself radical. Okay, y'all want to know how it goes that deep, how our education system got so screwed? It's because we got lazy and we allowed these people to infiltrate our schools in order to control our children, and now they've got our children reading books that literally have graphic sex in them, graphic homosexual sex. It is so good to see that these people are coming in and being like, get these radicals out of here. This is not how this is going to be. Our children are not going to be controlled by these people. Of the 30 candidates endorsed by DeSantis, 25 won their races. A few boards had the potential to flip from liberal to conservative. I hate that word, liberal. They're not liberals. They're leftists. And flip they did. Sarasota County flipped their school board from a 3-2 leftist majority to a 4-1 conservative majority. The Miami-Dade School Board also flipped their majority from leftist to conservative, making them the largest county in America to boast a conservative school board. Sorry, there's nothing liberal about these people. They're not liberals, and I hate the fact that they have managed to make us call them that. You know, that is one of the biggest jokes on America right now, that we just refer to the left as liberals. What's liberal about them? Well, they like abortion. They want abortion on restrictions, and then they're for gay marriage and all these. Like, I get some of that. Like whatever two people want to do in their bedroom, it's fine. I don't care. It's not my business. I'm a libertarian. You do you, and I'll do me, and we'll just leave each other alone. But no, that ain't liberal. Abortion on demand is not liberal. You're killing somebody. That's like taking away one of the biggest rights that someone can have, the right to life. Florida's stunning elections results bring several issues into focus. That we are in an era where national outlets like Red State are reporting on local school board races speaks volumes to just how desperate for change American voters have become. Very true, Kira. Parents reach the limits of their patience with social justice, political posturing, and offensive curriculum. They were pushed too far. Local races have become bitter battlegrounds as Americans grasp with the tough lessons of the last 2 years thanks to pandemic-era overreach. That is one good thing I'll say about it. I think Kira's right there. Kira's right. The pandemic taught us some things. I hate to say this, but I feel like the pandemic in the long run is probably going to be one of those things with an unintended consequence for Democrats and a really good lesson for Americans. They could easily turn you into a slave. Or at least a prisoner. Easily. Out of the blue. It really showed the Democrats' hand. Florida's results may also be a sign of what is to come in November, as other school board races across the country will be on the general ballots. Even if Congress doesn't get their red wave, America's school boards just might have a tsunami on the way. I believe that 100%, because if you actually look at other school boards happening, that races that have already happened, parents are sweeping them. These people, these radical progressives, are being voted out left and right. Let me give you guys a great example of just how bad it is for Democrats right now. In San Francisco, all right, 3 school board members who were deemed too radical were voted out by parents. In San Francisco. Not that it matters, because the mayor has oversight and he can just put in anybody else he wants to, so it'll probably still maintain radicalism. But it really goes to show you just how much parents of America mean business right now. They're done with this. They're tired of these leftists controlling their kids. It's really good to see. Rep. Matt Gaetz wins Florida primary. Bigly will face notorious Rebecca Jones in November. I gotta tell you, I don't see Matt Gaetz losing. I really don't. Matt Gaetz isn't just a Ron DeSantis guy as it stands at the moment. He's also a Trump guy. I see him being a heavy hitter in the near future. And while I know that he's gotten a bad rap because of some stuff that came out that they have still to this day yet to prove about Gaetz, I still see him walking away with this. Florida, in my opinion, is going to just get redder. And here's the funny thing about that. Florida is going to get redder despite the fact that it has been one of the destinations for interstate immigration. People leave blue states and they flee to either Texas or Florida. Those are the two main, or I think Arizona and Nevada are 2 others, but it's mainly Texas and Florida. Despite the fact that all of these people move from blue states to Florida, it's still getting redder. Still. What's up, Delacroix? Elric, how you doing? Used to be called child abuse, but now it's called mainstream. Isn't it sad? They overplayed their hand, and Americans are calling their bluff. The Overton window moved too fast to the left. They tried to scooch it to the left a little too fast, and Americans. Here, I've said this before, and I'll say this again. Americans are naturally rebellious people. We have rebellion in our blood. Our nation was founded on rebellion. Okay. In order to make an American actually cow, down to authority, you have to couch it and mask it and sell it as rebellion in and of itself. You'll notice that the left loves to use various phrases, themes, and stuff in order to get people to think that they're the counterculture so that they can fight against these people who want to, bring us back to the old way of doing things, which was horrible back in the day. Remember back when black people were hated and they had their own fountains, which is a Democrat thing, and women were just people who had to stay in the kitchen and have babies, and they were slaves to their husbands. Remember that? Do you want to go back to that? Fight against it. And then people think they're being rebellious by voting Democrat when really they're just voting for the most establishment ever. You know? Matt Gaetz for Speaker of the House. Oh my God, can you imagine? Look at those vote totals, though. 21K for her, 70. Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be a contest. Gaetz is probably going to smear Jones. I watched Silence of the Lambs and see Hannibal Lecter as the hero now. That's so bad. But you know what? It's kind of true. Who just joined? MTG? Yeah, I saw that earlier. What's up, time to watch? Farts is a fighter. That's what we need. Florida farts. Florida is just getting better, not just redder. I like that. You know, that's okay. Somebody send that phrase to DeSantis' team. Amen on the rebellion. Thank you, Shannon. Not farts. Gaetz. It's too late. He's farts now. He's farts now. I can't now. That's all I'm gonna just see farts now. Whenever they talk about Matt farts. All generations rebel. Most grew out of it in my generation, but I don't see that happening with Gen Z, millennials. Gen Z. I think Gen Z is still up in the air. I will say this about Gen Z. They do have a lot of people out there who worry me in their generation. But I have met more Gen Z conservatives and people who actually are willing to question leftist narratives in Gen Z than I have in my own generation. Not to say that my own generation doesn't have its fighters. It absolutely does. Look around. We're all over the place. But Gen Z has, I feel like, really mastered getting down to not caring. They don't care that they're going to be looked at as a pariah. They're willing to question things that many generations before them have just considered common sense. I have never seen the feminist narrative questioned more than I do right now. Younger millennials and Gen Z seem to have it in for things like the feminist movement. It's kind of crazy. The one weakness I will say that they have, though, is they seem to think socialism is a relatively good idea, which hopefully as they get older and they start to enter into the tax-paying age range, they'll start to be like, oh, it's not a good idea. Never mind. Sometimes experience is the best teacher. We'll see. All right, so good for Matt Farts. This part is on my... I woke up this morning and I saw this and I legitimately laughed out loud. Nikki Fried loses big to Charlie Crist in Florida Dem primary. Now she'll have to find a new excuse to stalk DeSantis. This, to me, in my honest-to-God opinion, Nikki Fried is just one of those weird politicians. She's strange. There's something about her. That's just... She's kind of like a Beto O'Rourke, but like she's more outspoken than Beto. You know? I feel like Beto is just kind of like a timid little... punk, whereas Nikki Fried is just a loud punk. All right. She's the one. Look at this. Ron DeSantis is doing everything he can to become a dictator. He's already half of the world there. Oh my God. She's just strange. She's strange. She got 534,000 votes to Christ's 903,000. The fact, because she had the most attention on her. Like, she was making these really weird ads that looked like they were like Slender Man was behind her, And she was constantly sending out these really bizarre tweets making fun of DeSantis and trying to say just weird stuff. Like go read her entire Twitter timeline. Just kind of go through it. It's some of the strangest, I don't know. It's just weird. By the way, I hate it.
It's Nikki Free.
I hate it when politicians do that. Like, just go. Like the camera guy needs to go. The moment he presses it, and they need to like start in. Instead, you have these politicians. Nikki Fried is just demonstrating this right now. They stare at the camera, smiling awkwardly for like too many seconds.
Good afternoon.
So just go. Just leaving the cabinet meeting where Ron attacked me before on Fox News and after to the media. He's scared. He's not scared. He's not scared. If there's anyone that Ron DeSantis is scared of, it ain't Nikki Fried. Okay? You know what Ron DeSantis is probably scared of? Florida mosquitoes. Have you seen those things? They got bones. I have 3 Zoomer nephews, all solid conservatives, but they're in my family and we're just genetically are. Yeah. Fried is fried. Fried is fried. If y'all missed an afternoon all, I sincerely hope y'all have a super active hump day. Lord knows I won't. Oh, you just relaxing today? You gonna kick back with a whiskey? I did that last night. Okay, maybe, before my Twitch stream. Twitch.tv/themorse code. The Democratic talking points are not working as well as it used to. Fatal Attraction vibes? Bro, that's a good way to put it. She kind of is a little bit. I will not be ignored. Like, she's a little strange, dude. Chris is not the sharpest tool in the shed, although DeSantis got this one. I have no worry for DeSantis at all. None. Back to work for you too? Fair enough, Am True. Thanks for stopping by, man. I don't think DeSantis is scared of anything. Maybe not, man. What's he got to worry about? He's the most popular governor in not just in Florida, but all of America. He's like the political equivalent of Chuck Norris. Florida has a lot of wildlife that will eat you. It is true. It is true. Florida and Texas have some of the, like... Dude, I used to live in Galveston. And the mosquitoes there are massive. If enough of them get together, they could carry you away. What's the real sell value of my 15-year Pappy Van Winkle? That's a good question. And one that I don't know the answer to. Sorry, wifey is playing that I'm pregnant thing to the max. Hey, my wife is pregnant too. And she does play it up, man. You know what? If you're carrying a baby, you have the you can play that pregnant card all day. You know? You're only creating organs inside of you. Right? Alaska mosquitoes show up on air traffic radar. That's a good one. Only Australia surpasses Florida in scary wildlife. Always listen to Woman Raptor. Safest bet. God, that's so true. My wife is on her way home right now from the airport. I couldn't pick her up because of the show. She's pregnant. She's very pregnant. She was happy she went on the trip, man, but she's like, I've hardly had any sleep. And I was like, come home, get into some soft jammies, and go to bed. Because I can guarantee you if she doesn't, I'm dead. I'm going to die. This will be the last RSL. Democrats crowing over big win in bellwether House race, but it may not be what they think. So in New York, it's the opposite. While Florida is awash in red, Dems are looking to score big in New York. Probably not that surprised, most of you. Democrats are crowing about a win in special election in New York. New York's 19th district, where Democrat Pat Ryan has been declared the winner over the Republican Mark Molinaro in a special election. So this has Democrats going nuts, right? They're like, oh, yeah, red wave. Some red wave, blah, blah, blah. And it happened in some place that you would typically consider a Republican area. So it's not the best news, but Nicarama has this explained, and I want to read this to you guys so that you understand that Democrats might be, they might be spiking the football a little too soon. Here was how MSNBC's Steve Kornacki was painting it as a big victory for the Democrats in a shift to a more neutral race, which is hilarious.
There it is. NBC News has just called it. Pat Ryan, the Democrat, elected to Congress in a special election from New York's 19th congressional district. He defeats Republican Mark Molinaro. This is a significant victory, not just for Pat Ryan in this district. This is a significant victory for Democrats nationally, because it gets to the heart of the question that we've been asking politically for the last 2 months, and that is whether the political climate in this country has changed, specifically in the wake of the Supreme Court ruling that overturned Roe versus Wade. There had been before tonight 2 special elections, one in Minnesota and one in Nebraska, in very Republican districts where Democrats had done better than Joe Biden had done in 2020. The Democrats hadn't won either of those districts, but they had done better than Biden in 2020. That created talk that perhaps there was new energy on the Democratic side, that they had overperformed in these Republican districts.
They did better than Joe Biden, which is like
we got a test in a different kind of district.
Being the smartest kid in
truly competitive political district here. Donald Trump carried New York's 19th district in 2016. Joe Biden carried it. He flipped it by 2 points in 2020. This district kind of mirroring the country. If you went further back, Obama carried this district back in 2012. In a midterm climate that the Republicans have been saying all year that we live in a strong Republican midterm climate, this special election would have been a layup for the Republicans and would have been a layup for Molinaro. Instead, the Democrats haven't just made it close. They are going to outright win this election. It is possible, in fact, that Ryan is going to win this district by a larger margin than Joe Biden carried it in 2020. And so I think this is the clearest, this is the strongest piece of evidence yet. And there have been other pieces of evidence in the last few weeks.
Okay, easy, Tiger. Okay, let's calm down for a second. Don't get cocky, kid. All right. As Nicarama explains, they should probably not be that proud. Democrats are declaring it a big win on pushing abortion rights and painting Republicans as extremists over the Republicans who were concentrating on crime and the economy. But while the district had previously voted for Trump and the Republicans were given a slight advantage in this race, they voted for Biden in 2020 and voted for the Democrat who is vacating the seat by 11 points in 2020. So the result is not out of line with that prior result. Additionally, Ryan was well known and previously won elections as the executor of Ulster County, the district's main population center, in a landslide. Perhaps also important to note that given the Democrats' move to the radical left, Ryan ran from the progressive label, saying that he was supportive of increasing funding to law enforcement as a county executive. So the district likely viewed him as more of a moderate. While Ryan did win this special election to fill out the seat, it's only until the end of the term in January. He's a placeholder. He'll be running in the general election in the neighboring district, so Molinaro will be facing Josh Riley for New York 19 in November. Now, Republicans should never assume that the wave is just going to be given to them, and Nick is absolutely right. Get out and vote. Don't see a red wave and be like, well, I can just get lazy and stay home. No. The red wave only works if you add to it. Get out there and vote. This race should make them sit up and not assume anything and fight all the harder because Democrats are going to throw everything they can up against the wall to win. Republicans need to tie every Democrat to Biden and how that's making money or how that's taking money out of people's pockets. If Democrats think that this is an indication that they're going to get a pass on this, they're sorely mistaken and missing the main point. It's the economy, stupid. That's always the main point. But yes, you can also throw in that it's the Democrats who are the extremists that has to be pounded home too. Let's rebut Kornacki with Kornacki.
Question we're always looking at here in midterm election years, the president's job approval rating.
I hate that it does that.
Biden in our new poll, 42% approve, 55 disapprove. It's been a few months since the last NBC poll back in May, and the change since then, really no change. Biden's approval rating exactly the same in our poll toward the end of the summer as it was as the summer was beginning. And the key to this, of course, obviously, there usually, historically, has been a pretty strong link between a president's job approval rating and how his party does during midterm elections. The only 2 times in modern history that a White House party has actually picked up seats in midterm elections was Bill Clinton in 98. It was George W. Bush in 92. Their approval ratings were both well above 60%. Biden's, you see, sitting in that zone where presidents and their parties typically have lost seats.
Uh-oh. Democrats are also ignoring all the other signs like the generic ballot numbers, GOP being red hot in Nevada, the conservative wins in Florida, and the weight of history favoring the GOP. Democrats are making a mistake here, but we need to take advantage of that mistake. The numbers will be there for Republicans, but we have to get everyone out to make that happen. So I agree with Nick. Here's what I see happening. I see that there was a big, huge red wave thing happening. I think that some people got lazy, all right, and they stayed home. They thought it's not a big deal. It's just a placeholder election. Don't need to worry about it, all right, because he's going to be back up in the election here in here just a little bit. So I see Republicans, this jolting Republicans awake. I see them coming back out and voting, and next thing you know, I think Riley's going to take that seat. I don't think that Democrats should really get that cocky. I think that this is going to be this is not a good indicator that Democrats are doing very well. I think it's kind of an off idea for them at the moment. Dooming and glooming over the latest election results. This is from Bonchi. Tuesday's election results were certainly interesting, and in many ways, they were a tale of 2 states. If you only followed the special elections in New York, you are likely convinced that the red wave has subsided, and that Democrats are going to defy history in the midterms. On the other hand, if you had your eyes on Florida, things look absolutely great for the GOP. And if you kept tabs on both, you are probably thoroughly confused right now as election analysts proclaim doom and gloom for Republicans in November. Should you concur? That's the big question. In New York, a special election in New York 19, currently held by a Democrat who won by 11 points in 2020, is stealing the headlines as a major bellwether. It featured a good Republican named Marcus Molinaro, who was supposed to be a sure winner. Molinaro was establishment approved, a hard worker, and was billed as exactly the kind of GOP candidate voters should get behind if they want to win elections going forward. In the end, though, Republicans did not turn out for him, especially in rural areas. The recriminations are going to center on why that happened. Was Molinaro just not exciting enough for the voters in the district? Or was there something else at play? I think it's probably a little bit of both, and I'm going to point out something that I'm not seeing others mention, namely that this is a special election that is going to be redone in a little over 2 months. Would you be excited to go to the polls knowing that it means essentially nothing? Especially when you live in a deep blue state where the top-line primary battles, i.e. other possible motivations to vote, are meaningless. Lee Zeldin isn't going to come within a dozen points of beating Kathy Hochul in November. Am I making excuses? I institute my cope over low turnout special elections in blue states weeks ago, so I suppose I am. But isn't the other side doing the same thing by choosing to ignore results that go against their narrative? It seems pretty noteworthy to me that GOP voters turned out in droves in Florida to sweep dozens of conservatives into formerly liberal-held school district seats. It also seems important that overall turnout by Republicans exceeded expectations, outpacing 2018 by several points. The Sunshine State looks increasingly red, with Governor Ron DeSantis being a powerhouse. And that is going to lead a lot of wins in November that will offset losses in places like New York. So what we should take from these conflicting results, I think, it means that the states are just polarized. You simply aren't going to get Republican victories in deep blue states in close elections anymore. Almost all these bellwether special elections have happened in California, New York, and Minnesota. What do those states have in common? Mass immigration to red states. Republican voters are leaving, and those that remain know the status quo will remain. The enthusiasm in rural New York is not going to be there compared to the enthusiasm in rural Ohio. That means red states will get redder and blue states will get bluer. In the overall scheme of things, given how House districts and Senate seats are apportioned across the nation, that may actually be a good thing for Republicans. Bonchi, I think, makes a good point, actually. Let's say that we do lose, that Riley does lose in New York. It's not because people are gearing themselves toward being more Democrat because of Roe v. Wade or anything like that. It's because they many people have left. I mean, I know that hundreds of thousands of people have left both New York and California. And most of them are traveling to Florida or Texas or Nevada or Arizona. And I've heard Montana is also getting a huge surge of them. People are leaving these blue states. And only the people who remain like kind of having that boot on their neck. So maybe Bonchi's right. But let's say he is right. I see Florida getting redder, as you guys can notice. I mean, you look at Matt Farts, okay? That dude 100% is going to blow his Democrat opponent out of the water. It's not even a question. If Florida is getting redder, what does that say about Texas? I mean, they had just as much blue state immigration, if not more, as Florida. So what do you think that's going to, what are we going to look at in terms of Texas elections? I would also like to remind everybody that whenever these polls come around during election season, oftentimes it undervalues Republicans in the beginning. Republicans tend to show up at election time with big stick in hand. I don't think that Bonchi is wrong here, but I also think that Republicans, he's probably underestimating Republicans just a little bit in these states. But even if I'm wrong and he's right, so what? It seems to me that more people are gaining ground in more Republicans are gaining ground in blue areas. I know in Texas, we've already flipped, I think, 3 counties. One Democrat was like, I'm out of here. I'm not going to be a Democrat anymore because you guys are nuts. And he flipped to Republican. I mean, things are only getting redder in Texas. Just like in Florida. Where else is that happening? Are we going to see Democrat areas in red states turn red now? Because it seems like it. I think Bonchi's right on that regard. Mass immigration has been a big factor. Big factor in the way that states have been voting. And a lot of people were holding out hope that a lot of these blue state residents would go to these red states and start turning that area purple or blue itself. And it hasn't. It still hasn't. That's got to say something. I love Bonchi. He's good. Bonchi's the best of us. See Stacey Abrams in church preaching how important and good it was to protect abortion. See, that's so extremist. That's such an extremist position, especially to say that in a church. Who looks at that and goes, yeah, I want to vote for that? Stacey Abrams is a weird character, man. She's just strange. How you doing, Dark? Florida is an example for the nation. America can be great again. Yeah. Get out and vote. Don't be lazy. Get out and vote. Lots of people left not worth dying in one of those cities. True. There wasn't one due to flood. Yeah, don't worry, Dark. You actually didn't miss it because we didn't have one. I was underwater. Let's take a look here. Sore loser Carolyn Maloney's 50 Shades of Cringe concession speech was something else. We were just talking about how Stacey Abrams is a really weird candidate saying some extreme things. Let me show you guys. By the way, I'm no fan of Jerry Nadler at all. I think he's a weird guy myself. You want to talk about a guy who's been in office too long, man. Both he and, what are they, like 80 now? I think both of these people are 80. Carolyn Maloney and Nadler are both in their 80s. She looks like she's in here. Dude, she looks kind of like she's had it. She's been there too long, man. This is the face of a woman who needs to step aside and probably start embracing the gray that is clearly coming out of her roots. All right, the blonde with this is not working for her. But this is a good way to show you exactly where they are, the Democrat mentality. And why I, honest to God, think that many voters are like done with them. Check out this concession speech where Maloney straight up accuses Nadler and his campaign of effectively like the same stuff that they accuse Republicans of doing.
Families who needed family leave, and we put the ERA back on the York women who opened doors and took on the tough battles. Shirley Chisholm, Bella Abzug, and Geraldine Ferrara, to name just a few. These heroic women fought sexist systems and misogyny that continues today, as we know from my own campaign.
Wait.
Ferrara, to name just a few. These heroic women fought sexist systems and misogyny that continues today, as we know from my own campaign. These pioneering women and others were often the first women to be elected in their districts to be.
Okay, sit down. She straight up accused Nadler of being a sexist, and that his campaign was sexist, and that the reason that people didn't vote for her was sexism. Straight up. It's all like they're now accusing their own party in the primaries of being evil, just like Republicans are evil. They're eating each other alive. It's so stupid. And then there's this one, by the way.
I know we're saving the speeches for a little later, but today we really proved that socialism wins.
New York, dude. New York. I don't see New York politics reigning supreme over the rest of America. I think that, honestly, Democrats are getting a little cocky because of one little election. One little election, and they think that they're on top of the world, man. I think they're boned. I still think the red wave is going to happen, but you got to get out and vote. You can't just not. You got to make sure that you're not resting on some confidence that everyone else is going to do the job for you. And I hate to say this because I'm going to sound cliche, but it is more important than ever that you get out and vote. We have seen what happens now whenever they just have free reign. The fact that they can just like reach into your wallet and have you pay for other people's student loans is ridiculous. The fact that they can try to force corporations to force their workers to take vaccines is ridiculous. Lockdowns, ridiculous. Masks, ridiculous. All of this stuff is ridiculous. This inflation, ridiculous. Sending all of these billions of dollars to Ukraine, ridiculous. This open border is ridiculous. It's all freaking ridiculous. And this is what happens whenever you allow these extremists to get into office. We have to get them out. We have to get them out. Florida has set a pace. And I believe it's one that we can keep across the nation. The fact that we have people getting knocked out of school board positions left and right because they're too much of a radical leftist is proof, in my honest opinion, that there is something the red wave is on its way, but you have to get out and vote. The red wave doesn't work without you. Stacey the Abrams tank. She's 76, neither is a spring chicken. So, is Nadler 75? So they're in their mid... Hey, what's up, Susie? They're in their mid-70s. They look like they are not in their mid-70s. They look way older than that. Nadler is such a stud. Nadler Antifa is just an idea. Yeah, exactly. He's such a goon. Can't wait for November. Good. As always, good show. Thank you, Cleo. Abrams is just McDonald's Grimace recycled. Oh my god, I'm not going to be able to unsee that now. That's so good. Abrams is a carpetbagger. God. She's just a weird person, man. There's something about her that just... It's just... I don't think that her appearing on Star Trek helped her at all, at least in my mind. Like, it just made her weirder to me. Nadler laughed out loud about mail-in ballots. He knew that fix was in. I'm not allowed to talk about that according to YouTube. You know, there's some really interesting stuff happening. That, you know, I feel like should be talked about when it comes to a pie eating contest that occurred a few years ago. I think it's some interesting stuff. That pie eating contest was really crazy. You know? A lot of questions about that pie eating contest. A lot of questions left over about it. He's ridiculous. Volunteer at Democrat campaign sites, get all the flyers and yard signs, and then take drive to the county and roast some hot dogs. Abrams appeared on Star Trek as a big example of the star the Dems think she is. It's almost like she's got a cult following, and for some odd reason, I don't know. I can't explain her. I do not understand. You want to talk about a person who is 100% denying results of a pie eating contest? It's her. She can get away with it, and because she did it, she's now like this national Democrat figure that everyone respects. But you're crazy if you deny the results of the pie eating contest. Thank you, that was great. I have a Biden-Harris shirt, not easy to put on. Good stuff. Guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this stream. It really does make my day when you guys show up and chat with me. It also makes my boss's day, so, you know, that's good for me. Go to redstate.com. Everything that I just talked about is up at redstate.com. Sign up for the VIP program. Use promo code Morson. Sign up. Really helps us out. Gets you a discount. Get some stuff behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Follow me at the Brendan Morse on Twitter and at the Brendan Morse Live on Instagram. And we'll see you later. Oh, do you not want to be held right now? She's so tired. She's had a busy day of napping. So she as you know, it kind of makes her just tired. Doing all that napping makes you tired. Holly, we're just trying to make an Abrams special. No, dude. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. And like this video. Oh, like the video. Thank you, John. Like the video as well, guys. All right. Much love to you guys. I will see you guys on Friday. Send me something if you want me to talk about it. I'm more than happy to do that. All right, guys. Peace!